Hello everybody, this is Bridget Mack, and today we are going to be discussing how to talk to your children about race. This is something that I think most people are actually afraid to talk about. With everything that's going on in the media, with the Zimmerman trial, we have had some ugly heads to surface with some very, very prejudiced opinions about the opposite race. And I'm not just talking about the whites against the blacks. I'm talking about the blacks against the whites, the blacks against the blacks, and the whites against the whites. And it is absolutely horrible, horrific with the way that America has responded in regards to this case. I did not agree with the George Zimmerman verdict by any means, and I really tried to keep my mouth closed on this whole entire topic because of how ugly everything is getting in the news, on social media, with all of the bashing that's going forth on both sides.
So don't talk to me about lying, because y'all are the biggest liars on the planet.
Trayvon was going back to whoop that ass.
For me, with my children, I asked them, how did this make you feel? And it did concern them that they can be out walking to the store, as they have done plenty of times, and because they fit the description of somebody else who's committed a crime, be punished, and that punishment be a result of them losing their life because of something that somebody else did. I did want to go ahead and address the issue of race and how we talk to our children about race, because a lot of people are avoiding the topic. They are saying that enough with this, we don't need to talk about it. And some of the most vocal people that you're seeing on social media are the ones that are race bashing each other, both black and white. They're race bashing, and I'm like, we need to have someone that have a common ground, a voice, a reason to come in. We need more people to come in and speak in a way that's going to help the people come together. Because of the response that we're getting, this shows and proves the point that, of course, this is still an issue. Me personally, I don't think the issue of race will ever go away, but I do believe that if we teach our families, talk to our children, talk to them about what's going on and how they would handle it and how they feel about it, we could prevent something like this from happening in the future. So that's why we're doing this blog today. For a long time, my son did not see me as being black. He thought that I was white because of my skin complexion. I don't think that he compared me with his pre-K teacher, who was a Caucasian lady. She had brown hair, but she had a very nice tan complexion. So he thought that I was white because our skin tones matched. But on the same token, even though he thought that I was white or creamy colored, like he used to when he was about 5, describe Caucasian people, he also thought that his daddy was brown. He said that he's brown, he's not black. So when that topic came up, I was like, okay, God, how do I talk to my children about this without causing an issue here? It never occurred to me when they were younger to talk to them about race until the subject of race was presented to them at school, and then they came home. When it comes to the subject of race, the last thing that you want to do is have a conversation with your children that will cause them to develop preconceived notions about people that they have yet to meet. The reality is, if we don't talk to our children, we are actually in fact harming them, because there are 3 dynamics, and I just talked about this the other week, to stereotyping and racial profiling: lack of education, seclusion, and fear. Okay? When you're not educated about the opposite race, you're going to stereotype, or you're going to categorize in a way that is going to cause you to have some conflicting relationships. When you're secluded, when you don't interact, when you don't have them the opposite race at your dinner table, in your church, at your school, in your neighborhood, in your play groups, on your baseball teams, then you're going to be setting your child up or yourself up for stereotyping because you don't know. So a lot of times when people don't know, they automatically assume. The last one is fear. The fear of trying to get to know the opposite race. The fear of asking questions. The fear of starting that conversation. The fear of wondering what the next person is going to think of you if they see a Caucasian person at your house, or an African American person riding around with you in your car. That, all three of those, is the major reason why we're having this issue today. So what we need to do as parents is talk to our children. How do you feel about a brown person? How do you feel about a creamy colored person, as my son used to say? What do you think of? Ask them and see what they're thinking. A lot of times children are afraid to ask things because they are made to feel like it's wrong. In my house, we tell our children, if you have a question, ask. Don't feel bad if it's inappropriate, or if you ask it inappropriately. Of course, we'll tell you, okay, this is the better way to ask it. But if your children have a question about something, they should always know that they can come to you. On the other hand, African American race, brown people, let me talk to you. We must take full responsibility and hold each other accountable as a race. You may not have done it, but because there are certain attributes that's assigned to different races, whether we want them there or not, we have to take note to that. When you think of sagging pants, when you think of somebody who's smoking weed, somebody who uses ebonics, somebody who got 4 or 5 baby mamas, the harsh truth is, the first race that's going to come to mind is the African American race. Okay? When you think about somebody who is an emo child, that wears all black, that has the hair all in the face, somebody who maybe a skinhead, if they still have those around, that listen to head-banging metal music, most people think about the Caucasian race. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. We're going to keep it real here, okay? There are some African Americans that don't want to be categorized as the weed-smoking, baby mama-making, I got to break in your house chicken-eating people. If you don't want to be categorized like that, then don't dress and look like that. If you don't want to be categorized as somebody who has a child that's a little weird looking, with all of the black and with all of the hair and walking and looking like they just walked out of Satan's camp, don't dress like that. There are certain stereotypes that have been assigned to all races. It's not fair. I'm not going to say that it's right, but the thing about it is people do that, and we have to understand, okay, this is a stereotype that's been assigned to my race. I don't want to be categorized like this. So if you don't want to be categorized like this, then you need to do something to set yourself out. I'm not saying to dog your race. I'm a brown girl, and I'm proud to be a brown girl. My daughters just told me yesterday, Mom, I'm proud to be a brown girl. Nothing against the Caucasian race, but then that's what they were made. If you're a Caucasian, if you're creamy, be proud that you creamy, okay? If you creamy / brown and you, like Wendy Williams would say, you got the swirl thing going on, be proud to be swirly. The only way that you can solve a problem is if you address the problem. Sweeping it under the rug is only gonna make that rug just get higher and higher and higher, and after a while, the dirt is going to seep through, and people are going to see that you have some dirty secrets that you are hiding. It's very important to me as a parent to teach my children to love. Growing up, I grew up in deep South Alabama, so I know what it feels like to experience some scarring, experiences with racism. But that didn't stop my parents from teaching us to love anyway. They taught us that not everyone is like that. Now, truth be told, not every Caucasian person that agreed with the George Zimmerman verdict is prejudiced. They just honestly felt like he did what he was supposed to do. That does not make them prejudiced. That just says that they agreed with the verdict. Not every black person that disagreed with the George Zimmerman verdict is prejudiced. That is just their particular view. What we have to do as a people is, when issues like this come up, we need to come together and we need to talk about it and discuss our feelings. Parents, is very important, because even if your child is not the next, if your child is not Trayvon, and I pray that the incidents with Trayvon Martin never happens again, he could or she could be the next Zimmerman. You don't want anybody making any rash decisions that's going to cause a national outrage like this whole Zimmerman trial has, you know, because at the end of the day, everybody loses. The Martins will never get their son back. And Zimmerman will never get his freedom. Even though he's out of jail, he'll never be free again. I do pray for the Martin family. I do pray that God will continue to strengthen them and their hearts, and that they are able to turn their pain into purpose and work towards making sure that this does not happen to another family again. If you love your child, even if you don't like the next waves, if you love your child, you would teach them to do what's right all the time to prevent something like this from happening. This has been Bridget Mack, and you've been watching today's topic, how to talk to your children about race. I hope this has been a blessing for you. Bye-bye.